Welcome back. It's hard to believe there was a time when tequila was decidedly untrendy. It was a rough drink that, according to one story at the time, was perceived as simply a fast way to intoxication. But then a company named Patron changed all that back, and a woman played a major part in this. And it's a bit of a love story as well, with the owner, and the product is Ilana Edelstein, who is visiting Australia, and she joins me now from our Melbourne studio. Welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm happy to be here, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now tell us the story of how a girl from South Africa got involved in tequila, including the love story. Give us the love story too.
Well, it's all part of the love story because it was a threesome actually.
Oh really?
We actually weren't, yeah. I had a magical love story with my late partner, and he was traveling to Mexico on another business and came across this tequila that was like no other. And being the entrepreneur that he was, he brought it home, and we were just design junkies, and we started designing the bottle and really not having any intention of being in the business, but it just kept moving forward based on being very passionate people and design junkies, and it actually grew into Patron pretty soon.
Now tell us about at the time though. I mean, I think young people these days find it hard to believe there was a time when tequila wasn't trendy. I mean, it really is quite an acceptable drink now, and your brand in particular has become very upmarket. You deliberately targeted there, but it didn't have that image then. And how do you go about making something, you know, upmarket?
First, we were the first tequila that was 100% agave. Up until that point, it was a gasoline type of drink where they had a very small amount of agave, and you drank it for the drunk of it, not even the high. It wasn't a good taste, and you got sick. So we came out with an 100% agave. It had never been done before, and in that we created the ultra premium category in the tequila industry. And it was in that regard, it was very deliberate.
Right, but what was the strategy? I mean, I gather you picked something that's now quite common, but you got celebrities to drink it.
And that was really more organic than very conscious. Our partner, John Paul DeJoria, he was in the hair care business, and a lot of his friends were celebrities. So in the early days, every party he went to, whatever he did, he would have a bottle of Patron in each hand. And organically, they started following. We got to be in movies and mentioned in interviews purely organically. We never in those days paid 1 cent for product placement or any of that.
So some of the celebrities I've seen you got in those days, Clint Eastwood, David Bowie, Tom Cruise. It was drunk at the Playboy Mansion.
Yes. All of our print ads at the beginning were all in Playboy, and we used Playmates as our models, and we know how sex sells. So we had a very good relationship with them. So yes, we were part of that. Clint Eastwood was a friend of John Paul's again, and so he happened to love Patron, and that's why it ended up in his movie and in a Playboy interview. Bruce Springsteen had it in his contract. There had to be Patron backstage for every concert. And I mean, these are things you can't buy. You know, there's certainly a lot of luck that comes into it, but I think that when you apply creativity, logic, and honesty, which is totally what the brand was, that's what you get, you know. And today it's a $1 billion a year brand. It's, you know, and that's my little baby.
Yeah, and I think it's funny, you know, because you've written a book about this, the Patron Way, and you noted, I think it was the distillers with the Jim Beam Company, and they thought they'd be pushed to sell a couple of tens of thousands of cases.
That's right. We had to leave them for that very reason, because they didn't think this would ever be a brand of any magnitude. And I'm so happy to say that we proved them wrong.
Just getting back to those celebrity endorsements now, today that is actually a business in itself, and you have to pay big bucks to get your name mentioned in a movie and to do it. But obviously in those days you weren't paying them, were you, presumably, or not? No. The money we're talking?
No. That they were coming to us, and I think that's what created the whole sort of the aura around Patron. It became this lifestyle thing, and everybody wanted to emanate all these movers and shakers that were singing about it and carrying bottles around, and it's something that just really happened. And I think now in hindsight I can see to a degree how you can create something like that, but some of it is always going to come down to being organic. You know, if you have a good product, and you certainly if you're in a high-end market, that's going to happen. You know, I mean, one of the reasons I'm here in Melbourne is I am on the board of a new Scotch, and the reason I'm on it is they have their identical similarities and passions and outlook as we did.
Now, I was going to ask you about this. It has an Australian connection. Tell us about this Scotch company. I mean, is it because you said it has similarities? Do you think you can emulate what the key to success was with Patron on this Scotch?
I believe so. I absolutely do. It's called Pure Scot, and David Pryor, who's the creator and owner of it, had read my book and contacted me and invited me to be on the board for those very reasons. I mean, our passion, our outlook, our intention is all the same. I mean, Pure Scot is a really contemporary brand in a bottle that is new age, and he's going to give the Scotch industry a little kick in the butt, because he's changing the way people think and drink Scotch. He's going after the existing market, but after a whole new market, including ladies, which is exactly what Patron did. You know, we ladies are consumers. We like to be part of that, and I think he's, yeah, in a lot of ways it's going to be the same.
Well, I actually had a Scotch, a man who, a distiller, I guess, one of the bigger ones. I've forgotten the name now, but I had him on this show a couple of months ago because we do a lot of alcohol companies. He was talking about the increase in women buying Scotch and young people. It's booming.
Absolutely, and everybody, there's an increase in everybody. Scotch is really a growing category, and I know in the United States it wasn't for a long time, but suddenly, excuse me, it has been. Not only is it a new thing to go after the woman, but Scotch has also not been a cocktail. It's been something that there's a ritual about it, and you'd have a sip, and you have a glass in the evening when the sun goes down, and David's going to not eliminate that, but include a whole other way.
I know. Well, this gentleman was saying that the young people, you know, and I said I thought it was shocking if they were shoving Coca-Cola, and he said it didn't really matter, that's how it was. But just getting back to tequila, we're seeing Scotch bars now, special ones that specialise in Scotch. And I have been, I must admit, for a long time, I hope it starts again, there was a specialist tequila bar in Sydney which had all the top premium tequilas, including yours. And it was like high-end Scotch. You could pay hundreds of dollars just for a shot of tequila. So these tequila bars, you wouldn't have imagined when you started off you'd be seeing that.
No, not even no, not remotely. I mean, I remember the days when Martin and I, we would trudge from bar to bar at just before cocktail hour with a bottle in each hand, and we would have to force them to even try it. But no, obviously not. But last night, the board and David Pryor, we went out and we went to a bar that was strictly whiskey. I mean, I had no idea that there were that many whiskeys. Yep. It was amazing.
It is incredible. So you're onto something yet again. Woman after my own heart. 2 successful alcohol brands. Thank you very much for your time, Ilana Edelstein.
Thank you so much. It's been fun. Thank you so much.
And good.